you want to hear about a case I'm working on? So this is a caregiver suing her former employer, which is not an individual family, but it is one of those job placement agencies that takes all the business and has all of the clients, and then they hire a bunch of caregivers, and then they start sending out the caregivers to each of those locations to service the clients for the betterment of the community. So in this case, I'm representing the plaintiff or the employee, and the employer just didn't didn't hold up their end of the bargain. So this is a case that I've had for several years now that's progressed through various different levels. And it all started off in the demand letter phase when we first requested the employer to give us all of their documents. And then we said, hey, you're missing X, Y, and Z. And also based on the documentation you provided us, you owe my client X amount of dollars. And by the way, you also violated these 5 other things. And, during negotiations, those are confidential. There were settlement negotiations. They were not successful. So we ended up going to the Labor Commissioner's office, the DLSE, the Labor Commissioner, or what some of y'all call the Department of Industrial Relations. So we went to the Labor Commissioner's office and we ended up filing a complaint. Enough time went by where we actually saw the claim in conference, which is the first level. So when you go to the Labor Commissioner's office, as soon as you file your complaint, the first thing you do is receive a notification of confirmation that you've actually received it, or they've received it. And then the first appointment that you're going to get scheduled is usually called a claim and conference. And the first document you're going to receive is a notice of claim and conference, or I entitle it in our office as a knock form. And I know that's kind of repetitive that I'm saying notice of claim and conference form, like a notice form, but I just think that knock is, a lot more appealing to my auditory senses. And I also picked that up from the Labor Commissioner's office. When I call their field offices, that's what they call it. So I'm not inventing anything here. So the first appointment you're going to get set up with the Labor Commissioner is the claim in conference. Now, we went through that claim in conference. I'm sure I'll make another video on what a claim in conference is. And you go through that process. Now, during that process, you could either settle the case, but realistically, the complaint gets finalized, and then that's what gets submitted, served to all the parties, and then that's what you have your hearing on, is the complaint that you prepare at the claim in conference, the knock. I know it's a claim in conference, and then the knock actually stands for notice of claim in conference, but I like knock. Knock is the way to go. DLSE San Jose office approved. The Paseo de San Antonio office. So once you have that claim in conference, we had it unsuccessfully, so we ended up going to the hearing. Now, we had a successful resolution at the hearing. The Labor Commissioner came out with an ODA, so their order, decision, or award in our favor. High five. Yay, employee. And on this one. And then it ended up, it got submitted to the Superior Court. Now, I could have just let it fly and, turn it into a judgment, but there's one thing. 3 years ago, I wasn't sure if this employer was a going concern, and 3 years ago, I wasn't sure if they were going to be bankrupt, and then the CEOs and the COOs and the director of operations and the people who made out with the money, who got the bag, would just run over to Aruba to where I couldn't catch them. So wasn't sure if that business was going to be a going concern at that time. So we ended up filing an appeal just to make sure I can get the CEO, the COO, the director of operations, and anyone who's in charge of the payroll on that docket with a judgment against them on their personal name that's filed anywhere they go and any other credit check that they get taken out on before they go to Aruba, right? Before they head over there. So we submitted an appeal. Now, the guys, the defendants, the ones who are not the employer, well, they are the employers, but not the business. They didn't get the memo. I think they headed off to Aruba because I've been trying to find them for 2 years and I expended substantial resources in attempting to find these individuals, and couldn't find them to serve them. So that's where we are right now. We have a trial setting conference coming up in a month, and I still want to serve these mofos, right? Because I think that they should be on the hook, and I think that they should be liable for my clients' injuries and damages. And they will. So I wasn't planning on going to court tomorrow, but I'm fortunate enough and I'm very lucky to go to court. And I'm going to court for an ex parte hearing. Now, if you don't know what that is, it's pretty much just an emergency hearing where I'm saying I need to see the court for a very specific reason. It's because these guys are on their way halfway to Aruba. And, we got a trial setting conference coming up in June. I want to get these guys served so then we can get this show on the road and get another trial and get these guys on the hook again, right? So, we got an ex-parte hearing tomorrow. I get to go to Santa Clara County Superior right there in downtown San Jose at 191 North 1st Street. Bright and early at 8:15 in the morning. Well, realistically, I'm going to get there at 8, but the ex-parte hearing starts at 8:15. So we'll see what the judge says. I'm assuming they're going to say yes. I hope they say yes. I'm not assuming anything, right? You always got to do your homework. But I filed for an ex-parte application to serve both of those parties by publication. So meaning that normally when you're in a lawsuit, you need to personally serve somebody. If it's an individual, if it's a business, there's different ways to serve people. But in this situation where these are two individuals, you have to hand serve them. And since I can't find them, there's other avenues because I've exceeded my due diligence in trying to hand serve these guys in multiple locations, multiple times, multiple dates, multiple times during those dates. And then asking the judge, hey judge, these guys are hard to get and they're trying to be hard to get. Can I serve them by publication, por favor? And, that's what my hearing for is in the morning. So, wish me luck. Got my suit picked out already. Going to wear my blue shoes, my blue Cole Haans. You're going to laugh, but I'm going to wear my necktie, my Express necktie. And my Express 2011 necktie, because, the neckties they made back then were a different breed. And, my lucky dark blue suit. So, wish me luck. I'm also going to bring my hat because, I can't let this head get burned in the hot summer sun because right now it's, May 21st. And today was like an 85-degree weather day. So, yeah, I'm excited. Wish me luck in tomorrow's hearing. And, by the way, I went to skate night. If you're ever in San Jose on a Tuesday night and you have your rollerblades, roller skates, feel free to come by San Jose City Hall, the Rotunda, because we're meet up at like 6:50 on Tuesday nights and we roll out at 7:09. So feel free to join us. So last night was my first Tuesday night skate back since I got my hair surgery because I've been restricted from working out for a period of time. And it was a great time. I fell. Want to see my scratch? Nice. Gnarly, huh? I actually fell partially because I was going down a hill, and then I was also screaming and yelling, and then while trying to videotape at the same time, so way too many things at once. But I actually got the crash out on camera, so feel free to check it out. It should be on here. It should be listed something whimsical as like first Tuesday night skate back. And I think there was like this AI generated like test like overlay of like words on top of it, which sounded motivational, which sounded like really cool at the beginning because it's my first ride back, but then crashed out. So hopefully you enjoy it. Cool, man. Little slice of life. This is a little bit of mine. Catch y'all later. Welcome to San Jose.